Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar tonight. On behalf of IamExpat, I would like to welcome Language and Motivation. We are joined tonight by Sophia and Anita, and they are going to help you overcome the challenges of learning Dutch the fast way. Before we get into it, however, I just would like to do a bit of housekeeping. To the top right of your screen, if you're joining us on a desktop, you will see there is a chat section and a Q&A section. If you're joining us via a mobile telephone, there should be at the bottom of your screen on your telephone. You'll also see it over there. So I'd like to invite you now in the chat section to let us know what city or country you're joining us from. It's always nice to see how far the webinar has reached and who is all interested in learning Dutch. And then throughout the webinar, our presenters will obviously be presenting, but if any questions do pop up, feel free to pop those questions into the Q&A section. And if somebody has asked a question that you too would like to know the answer to, feel free to upvote the question. Then these questions get thrown to the top of the list as the most sought after questions. And they'll be answered first. And then I will hand over now to Sophia and Anita. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. Yeah, there we go.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you, Iska, for the introduction.
It's a pleasure. I forgot to mention, sorry, if you do pop your questions into the Q&A section, we usually dedicate the last 10 to 15 minutes to answer these questions. So stay tuned, your questions will be answered, but they'll be answered at the end of the presentation. All right. I'll be on the back end if anybody needs me. Enjoy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar.
Hello.
So this is a live training tonight. We'll discuss how to overcome the challenges of learning Dutch. Sounds to be like we used to say that it's a difficult language, but let's see tonight what stereotypes we'll discuss and what tips you can get from us. So let's start. So we have 3 units, like 3 parts in our webinar. The stereotypes, like the Dutch narrative, the challenges of every Dutch student and how to overcome them. So we'll give you some tips. And then at the end, you will have a trial lesson with us. Let's start with the stereotypes. We believe that it's a lie that older people learn more slowly than younger students. What do you think? Do you believe the same? So there are some pop-up questions, like some polls from our side. Feel free to answer them. Like that, we'll have like an impression of what you really think. And we can comment on that later. So with an adult-specific method, you can learn as fast as if you compare yourself being 20 years younger or 10 years younger. It's mostly the overload that we have in daily lives and the responsibilities that we have that make us learn slower. That's the only reason. Another specific method has to be relevant to your life and has also to provide flexibility. Keep these 2 things, we'll discuss them later too. Tailor-made educational material. It's important. You don't need to start learning from the alphabet and from like very basic things that the traditional method usually teach us. You can start with things that are relevant to your life, maybe relevant to your field of specialization, what you need. And this is what we'll encourage you to do today, like to focus on what you need the most. So the biggest phrase, the biggest stereotype here is that Dutch is hard to learn. Do you believe the same? Please let us know. I also had the window, the pop-up window here, like the poll. Let's see. So my answer is that if you speak German or if you speak English, it might be easier for you to learn Dutch than you might imagine. I have a German friend who says that Dutch is German for kids. He lives in the Netherlands. So after experiencing the languages, both languages for many years, he really believes that Dutch is German for kids. So let's see in our example, what do you gain, what do you already know if you speak German and if you speak English. We prepared something for you. So you speak English. Here we have the same text written in Dutch and then translated to English. We have underlined, highlighted some words that are very similar or exactly the same. You can just take a look here. For example, Aneta, would you like to help us here and maybe help our participants read and see some similarities?
Yes, of course. I will read the Dutch part. Het stationsplein in Roermond is volgestroomd met bont uitgedoste en geschminkte feestgangers die vanaf 11 uur de hele dag Limburgse artiesten kunnen zien. De stad is het epicentrum van het Limburgse carnaval, goed voor de toestroom van 15.500 betalende gasten.
Okay.
So I guess that there are some words here that people can recognize.
And even the last one that we haven't highlighted, like Hasten, is the guests.
Yeah.
I can already understand this from the existing knowledge of English. Everyone can.
Yes, and we also hear the very hard when the pronunciation.
Gasten. Yes, okay. We'll discuss the pronunciation later, deeper. But yeah, for sure, here we want to first take a look of how some words seem and that we can recognize them when we see them in written, right?
Yes.
And then we have another small text in Dutch, and under that, you can see it's in German. The text, the second text is written in German. You can already see that you spot more similarities here. Okay, it's not necessary to read it, but we want that you focus on the similarities when you learn something, because we tend to focus on what we don't get, on what we don't understand, the unknown words. But if we just do the opposite, we start better, and we give ourselves the opportunity to use as fundamentals the existing knowledge of other languages and then build up there. Let's go now to the challenges of the Dutch student. So here we have another poll. What's the biggest challenge for you? Is it pronunciation, vocabulary, speaking, or grammar? I'm really wondering if I can already see your polls. Let me check here. I can't see your answers yet, because that would be interesting to discuss.
Yeah, I think they're still open. I think some of them have submitted to do it later, so some of them are still open. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Riska. Good. So here I will invite Aneta, who is the responsible Dutch teacher of our school, to talk to us about the challenges of the Dutch students. And we have already prepared some slides. So, for example, Aneta, what do the students usually complain about?
They complain about the pronunciation. It's very difficult. They can't pronounce the g. Another one is what very difficult is the ui, zoals huis. And the u is also very difficult. And what we don't have here is the o, like keuken, is also very difficult in the pronunciation. So in the beginning, they all struggle with the correct pronunciation, and it's very hard for them to learn to pronounce them correct.
And according to you, is the pronunciation important to learn it correctly at the beginning? How do you deal with it before we go to the tips?
Yes, I think it's very important, because otherwise, if they don't learn the pronunciation correct, if they want to speak later with people and their pronunciation is not very good, they don't understand. Maybe they say something else than they want to say. So it's very important that in the beginning, the pronunciation is very important to learn to pronounce it correct.
You know, there is a very short but interesting story I would like to share with you. So I'm a French teacher. I'm here today because I'm the creator of the FAST method. But some years ago, when I taught French to a student of mine, so he didn't focus on the pronunciation at the beginning. He was really je m'en fous. He was really not interested at all. And he was always saying like, Sophia, I don't focus on my pronunciation. I want to just learn for a hobby, like for fun, to learn French for fun. You know, at the end, after some years of learning, he was a big fan of the language, that he studied French philology and literature. He was already a journalist, but he decided to go deeper with French. You know, it was a bit late to work with his pronunciation, and I regretted at that moment that I didn't really insist on his pronunciation at the beginning. Take it seriously at the beginning, because you never know what you can do with the language you're about to learn. Let's go to the tips now. So the space is yours, Aneta. Please help us here.
Yes, the pronunciation here is a little bit hard, like the Groningen. Groningen. Gisteren. Now we can give the people a little bit the time to pronounce the other two before I pronounce them.
Can you try? So let's see. Can I try as a Dutch learner?
Of course.
Pagina.
Heel goed.
And you know, this word is the same in Spanish, because I speak Spanish, so I recognize it, and it has the same definition as well. And then is it vrijdag? Vrijdag?
Ja. Vrijdag.
Groningen, gisteren. Good.
Pagina en vrijdag. Ja.
We say that if you pronounce a word, you pronounce them all. Why? Here, what do we have here? Which diphthong is that?
Hier hebben we de ui. We have the ui.
Ui.
Ui. Ja.
Ui.
Ui. Huis.
Huis.
Muis.
Muis.
Uit.
Uit.
Juist.
Juist. We hope that you also try it at home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we cannot hear you, but I'm sure you're trying it, and it's important to practice.
Yes, so pronounce the ui. The ui is one of the most difficult ones.
And is it always pronounced like that when we have these two letters together?
Yes, the ui.
Ui, ui, ui. Perfect. Ui, huis, muis. Okay, let's go.
Dan heb je hier de je.
Je.
Ja.
Je.
Jordan.
Jordan.
Ja.
Ja.
Jaap.
Jaap. So we have two A's here, right?
Ja. En Maarsen.
Maarsen.
Ja. Maarsen. Pronunciation is long.
Maarsen.
Maarsen. Ja. Koe. The oe. We have here the oe. Koe.
Koe.
Moe.
Moe.
Joepie.
Joepie. And let people try the last one. Okay, I can try myself. Moeder. Moeder.
Heel goed, Sophia. Moeder.
Because it's oe, right? Koe, moe, joepie, moeder. Yeah. Moeder. It's the mother, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And here we stop with these examples, and I'm going to say some theory, like what is the FAST method. We have two tips here about that come from the FAST method, that come from the way we work, and we know that these tips have a good result to people when they try them. So, for example, talk to the window. This is my theory. And that comes from my professor's, actually, theory. He was saying, talk to the mirror. What you have to pronounce, what you have to learn, pronounce it, practice it 10 times in front of the mirror. So what I did when I was learning Dutch, it was that in my office, in my previous office, I had a window. It was to the right. Now my office is like to the left here. And then you have to talk to the window. You have to pronounce out loud what you want to learn. Because we usually tend to read things without pronouncing them, soundless. But like this, we don't exercise the muscles around the mouth. And you know, they say that we have around 43 muscles that need to be trained when we learn a new language. So, for example, talk to the window, speak out loud. You know, I'm alone here, I don't disturb anyone. When you study, you do the same. You pronounce out loud, huis, muis, moeder, koe, like the examples we just shared. And then please practice, repeat 10 times in front of the mirror or 10 times to your window. You know, we usually say, yes, you have to practice, blah, blah, but just do it. This will make the biggest difference when you learn Dutch. I'm really wondering, do you do it? Do you speak out loud? If you are like the participants here today, if you're already learning Dutch, do you ever pronounce out loud when you're alone in order to learn? Please share with us. How do you learn pronunciation? If this tip sounds useful, just try it. Another challenge, Aneta, is the vocabulary, right?
Yes.
And it's indeed challenging for many people because there are many many long words, very long words, right?
Yes. Yes.
We have some examples here. Would you like to share them with us?
Yeah, the first one is studenten, huisvesting.
Huis, we saw before, right?
Yes.
The
So,
house.
altogether, studentenhuisvesting.
Studentenhuisvesting. Yes, thank you.
Kinderbijslag. Kinderbijslag.
Kinderbijslag, kinderbijslag. You know, when you hear yourself, you can see what makes it difficult for you. You can try it again and you practice.
Na zomerweekend.
Na zomerweekend. Weekend.
Na zomerweekend.
Na zomerweekend. You know what I noticed? That when I speak to you, to the camera, because the distance here is short, I don't feel to pronounce it out loud like I do, like how I do when I pronounce towards the window.
Yes.
Towards my door there. So it's na zomerweekend. Comes more natural. Of course, I put some effort, but I can shout out loud.
Koekenbakker.
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 Vindingrijkheid. Vindingrijkheid.
So what you actually do is that you cut down the words in order to understand them a bit more, right?
Yes, and to understand them, and then to also have a better pronunciation so that you can pronounce each part very clearly. It's better. So otherwise you don't know how to pronounce the whole word. So it's better to cut it into pieces.
Yes, right.
Luchtvaartmaatschappijen.
Okay, this is more difficult.
Ja, this one's long. Luchtvaartmaatschappijen.
Luchtvaartmaatschappijen. So if I find it difficult, I just focus on one of them. Maatschappijn. Luchtvaartmaatschappij. Not all together, but I break the word down to 3.
And the last one, arbeidsvoorwaarden.
Perfect.
Arbeidsvoorwaarden.
Perfect. Let's go on. Pronunciation again. What does the FAST method say? Work with whole texts. online sources, articles, letters from the municipality or from the Belastingdienst, whatever you receive at home, relevant vocabulary, study relevant vocabulary to your life, relevant to your job, or in order to find a job. So, okay, here it's not for pronunciation, here it's about vocabulary again. I think we've made a mistake. So what we want to suggest is to learn words, not into lists of words, but into their context. That's why we recommend our students to work with whole texts in order to develop an understanding of the language, a first understanding, to comprehend, start comprehending what they read. And then the same will happen when we hear something in the metro, in the train. Like if we start paying attention to what we hear around us, if we listen to it, then we'll start recognizing words that we know, and it's more beneficial because we recognize them and we listen to those words, we hear those words into their context. It's like that we learn them and we memorize them. Grammar, okay. How do we work with grammar here? We say analyze it and study it when you need it. For example, how did you spend your weekend? A colleague might ask your friend. So when you know that you will start a lesson maybe, or you will speak with someone about your weekend, then just prepare yourself a bit with the past tenses. Think or just look for it for verbs or for the past tense. How will you say what you did yesterday? It was King's Day, like celebrated. I met my friends. I did this. I did that. So learn something when you need to use it. Another tip is that translation to your mother tongue helps, or translation to English. Some people don't believe that. In my practice, it has helped a lot. And I also hear it from people that it helps. And we give some examples here, like, I love living in the Netherlands. In English, we would say, because there are many flowers or because there's something that I love. But if you could translate it word by word to Dutch, you would say, because many flowers there are. Because I have the causative word, then the verb goes to the end. Because I want to learn Dutch, because useful it will be. So, Aneta, how do we translate this sentence in Dutch? I want to learn Dutch because useful it will be.
Dan zeg je dan, I love...
like the second one. I want to learn...
Oh ja, ik wil Nederlands leren, omdat het makkelijk zou zijn, of het zou voor mij...
So we have omdat at the beginning.
Yes, omdat, and always verb at the end.
At the end, then you put makkelijk, and then you say zijn at the end. It will
zal
be.
Zijn. Ja.
Het zal zijn. Will be.
Het zal voor mij makkelijker zijn, omdat ik anders niet de Nederlanders begrijp.
Begrijp. So now you put the verb again at the end, because you had omdat. Because you had the word because.
So when we use omdat, we always place the verb at the end.
Perfect. And then related to grammar, everything in good time. You know, we're all adult students and we tend to ask many questions at the beginning. It's good to ask questions, they are necessary. Just don't go for the exceptions when you are at A1 level. Don't rush. Start trying to communicate with the other person and then to learn the rules and then focus on the details. You will do that anyways when you're at B1, B2 level. Just at the beginning, it's so important to communicate. This is the result you want, to be able to answer a question, to communicate to the supermarket. At the beginning, you don't know to need all the exceptions. Fundamentals based. So the FAST, from our FAST method, means that means it comes from the fundamentals, because at the beginning, you want, as I said before, to focus on the most important things. And we have a good example that follows here. Like we have the verb ik ben. If I want to present myself, I will say ik ben Sofia. So if I compare this with the infinitive of the verb I am, ik ben, it's more important to know how to say the first person, like ik ben, than to know the infinitive, the verb to be. It's zijn, right?
Yeah.
So focus on what you need first, for example, in order to introduce yourself. Okay, another challenging chapter in Dutch is the articles.
Yes.
What do we have here? How can we categorize the articles in order to help the learner?
Well, it's we have in Dutch de, so it's for male and female, and het. Now here we know there's one rule. All the plural is de. So dan is het de kat, de katten.
Katten.
Ja. De vrouw, singular, en plural, de vrouwen. De slang, plural, de slangen. De koe, in plural, de koetjes. So with the one of the rules with the article in plural, it's always de. So that's easy to remember.
Good.
And then we know some words ending at heid, like de mogelijkheid, de apartheid. Words at er, like de bakker, de trainer, de vergadering, at ending at ing, en de ervaring.
When we see these endings, we know that there is the article de for these nouns.
Yeah.
Again, the article de for words for people and professions, like, for example,
de bakker,
de bakker,
de politieagent, de zanger, de vriend, de vrouw en de man.
And then we will have the article het.
Het, yes. Sports here. Het voetbal, het ballet, het tennis.
Good. Again, the article het.
Diminutives. Het mannetje, het koekje en het schaapje.
It's a small one, right?
Oh,
Mannetje is a small man. Like.
And in Dutch, they use it a lot. They speak a lot with diminutive words.
En biertje, het biertje.
Koekje, koekje. Yeah.
Now in the spring. Okay, perfect. Het also goes with infinitive.
Yes. Het eten, het lopen, het spelen.
Nice. And then we say that you can learn in practice. So these were the tips we mostly could give you here. Categorize the articles to know, to guess easily where you should put de and het. Then some tips about the pronunciation, about the grammar. When you go deeper, you go deeper. When you grow in the language journey. Soon we'll have a trial lesson here. So we talk about learning in practice with less theory or without theory. How? You need to have your ears and eyes wide open. When we start understanding what we read and hear, we start acquiring the language unconsciously. Chris Lonsdale is a great professor. I'm not sure if he's American or Australian, but he's he's an English speaker. You know, he learned Chinese in 6 months with his method, sharing the same principles like the FAST method. You can, if you're interested, you can watch his TED Talk years ago. You can find it online, but he gave this talk some years ago. If you write down his name, Chris Lonsdale, he's very inspiring. And you will hear how he managed to learn how to read, speak, and write Chinese while being in China in 6 months. Believe in you, believe in your teacher and the method, the way you decide to learn. He also says that the physiological condition matters. If I fear, if I don't believe in myself, I just spend my time and I say, okay, I will try to learn Dutch. But if I'm here, if I'm focused, if I trust my teacher and the way I'm learning, then you give it some months, you give it some weeks, and you see then, okay, I studied, I had my lessons. What's the result? Where am I going? If you're serious about it and you really believe that you will do the work, you will do it, you will make it. Stimulating. It has to be stimulating so that it keeps an adult on the track. It keeps you motivated. Stimulating is the S from the F.A.S.T, the name of our method. How the journey begins. Let's see the trial lesson together. So we are here at the last part of our training tonight. Unfortunately, you can participate actively in a way that we can hear you, but you can speak out loud at home. We'll encourage you to find some similarities or to pronounce some words in the text that are following. And you can always write down any questions in the chat. We'll discuss them at the end of the training. So you will experience now the F.A.S.T method in action. You will acquire a general understanding of the structure of Dutch because we'll work with 2 articles and you will start already learning. So what do we have here, Aneta?
Yes, Sophia. I'm going to read the text, and afterwards you are going to tell me which words you recognize and whatever you understood the text a little bit.
Nice. I will have the role of the learner here, but I will be honest, what I understood at first when I first saw this article. Okay, fertile means translation, right? We will translate it into English. This is the goal here. So you will read it for us. Please do it slowly so that all beginners can follow. And so the participants and my goal is to understand some words because we already speak English. Okay, let's go.
Yes. Nederland kan zich opmaken voor een warm nazomerweekend met hoge temperaturen. Zondag tikt het kwik in sommige delen van het land zelfs de 25 graden aan. Regen is naar verwachting in geen velden of wegen te bekennen, voorspelt Wilfred Jansen van Weerplaza dinsdag.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So, Nederland. Okay,
Nederland.
this is easy. It's Netherlands, like the country.
Yes.
Can is the verb, is very similar to the verb can in English.
Yeah.
I can do something, I'm capable of doing something, can. Can, I know. The pronunciation is not important here to me. I want to understand in order to translate. So I'm focusing on the similarities and focusing on what I can already understand. Nederland kan.
Yeah.
Then zich, no idea. Opmaken, maken makes me think of make, the verb make in English.
Yeah.
Voor een warm nazomerweekend. For, because I heard you pronouncing like for, not voor.
Yeah.
It might be for, like for you.
Yes.
Een warm is warm.
Warm, yes.
For a warm nazomerweekend. Okay, weekend is the weekend.
Yeah. And
I have a
zomer.
long word. Yes, and zomer, now I know it, but it's very similar to summer, okay? Summer. I didn't know the word na at the beginning. Nazomerweekend, but it's summer weekend. And I already understand like Netherlands can for a warm summer weekend. I understand many words here. Met hoge temperaturen. Temperaturen is temperatures.
Yes.
I recognize the plural. Hoge temperaturen, high temperatures, with high temperatures. So the first sentence was not very difficult.
Yes.
I still have unknown words, but I don't focus there at the moment. Later on, you can tell us what zich opmaken means, but I'm still discovering the text.
Yes.
Zondag, like the last word, dinsdag.
Dinsdag. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are two days of the week.
Days.
And if you don't know which ones they are, you can just Google them and see that it's Sunday and dinsdag is Tuesday.
Yes.
Het kwik in sommige delen van het land. Here I only understand the beginning, landen.
Land, yeah.
25 graden reminds me of the degrees, if you change the order of the letters.
And the pronunciation is a bit hard here. Graden. And the g and the r. Graden.
Is it like Groningen that you told us at the beginning?
Groningen, yeah.
Graden.
Graden.
So this second sentence is not that easy like the first one. Regen is naar verwachting. Verwachting. Now that I know what it means, is like to expect something.
Yes.
Yeah. I recognize the wachting from the verb wait.
Wachten. Yes,
so
wait.
Wachten, to wait, so to expect something, to wait for something. In geen velden. Here I don't understand. Voorspel, okay, so that was all. Maybe I understand 50% of the text at the beginning. I hope you also understand like kind of the same, with a bit of imagination there. And then Aneta, maybe in order to solve the quiz, would you like to just translate it for us to see how much we understood?
Yes. So we can say here, Nederland, the Netherlands can prepare themselves for a warm after summer weekend met hoge temperaturen, high temperatures. Zondag tikt het kwik. Sunday tikt het kwik in sommige delen van het land. And Sunday, the mercury will reach in some parts of the country de 25 graden aan, 25 degrees.
Sommige is like you said some part.
Sommige delen. Ja, okay. Some parts. Regen is naar verwachting. Rain is not expected to be seen. In geen velden of wegen te bekennen. Is not expected to be seen. It's an expression in Dutch. And then predicts Wilfred Janssen van Weerplaza dinsdag. Predicts Wilfred Janssen, he's from Weerplaza, and dinsdag Tuesday. But in geen velden of wegen te bekennen. In no fields or roads will be seen. So it's an expression. So if you don't know that.
Because you said that rain is not expected, but you don't have a negative form there. It's from geen velden.
Yeah.
No, in no fields.
No
like
fields.
Rain is expected in no fields, nowhere.
Nowhere, no roads to be seen. Yeah. Predicts
Nice.
Wilfred Janssen. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have a second one, right?
Yes.
Spreekoefening?
Ja, spreekoefening.
This means speaking practice?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, then, what do you want us to do here?
They also, you can see here, you will read out loud and fluently in Dutch.
Already fluently?
Yes.
Okay.
Sophia, do you want to give it a try or do you want me to read it?
So in order for me to be able to try it, I need to hear it first. Maybe sentence by sentence, we can do it in parallel like that.
Ja. Beleggers hebben de studentenhuisvesting ontdekt.
Beleggers hebben de studentenhuisvesting ontdekt.
Ja. De afgelopen 5 jaar investeerden commerciële partijen meer dan €1 miljard in studentenwoningen.
Okay, so if someone needs to hear it, to listen to it again, they can, in order to start trying. De afgelopen. I've heard it and I've pronounced it sometimes, so I'm not a total beginner. But I want to show you that I practice out loud, like de afgelopen, and I'm not afraid of making mistakes. I know that now, for example, Riska is hearing us, and I'm not telling it correctly, but we don't mind. If you have your teacher in front of you, if you have a Dutch girlfriend or boyfriend or friends who hear you, it's just okay to try, okay? To try at the beginning. It's a safe space at home, during the class. So, de afgelopen 5 jaar, pronounce out loud, investeerden commerciële partijen meer dan 1 miljard euro in studentenwoningen. Like before I had studentenhuisvesting, here I have studentenwoningen. Once I believe I tell it correctly, then I repeat.
Yes, and Sophia, euro.
What did I say?
A little bit English.
Okay.
English
Euro.
Yeah, euro.
Euro. Sometimes it helps me as a learner to remember, or if you can remind me how I pronounce it, because sometimes we don't realize how we say it.
Yes.
Maybe it helps other people too. Euro, you said.
Yeah, euro.
Euro. It's mostly like euro.
Euro. Yeah, Europa.
Europa. Okay, now you're giving a second example with the same sound, and it helps me. Europa.
Yeah.
Now that you helped me to correct it, that I pronounced it once, then normally I would go again from the beginning of this sentence. De afgelopen 5 jaar. So you have to put effort. You have to be tired at the end. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like that new neurons are being built in your mind, and you're learning. You're making new paths. And also here, I'm practicing here, I'm working. Okay, then I let you go on a bit.
Oké, dat bedrag is nog hoger als de aankopen worden meegerekend die ze deden in samenwerking met ideële studentenhuisvesters als corporatie Duo en de stichting SSH.
This is a very long sentence.
Very difficult one, yeah.
How can someone manage to read it all since it's so long and since we are beginners?
This last one, I would say I will start with dat bedrag is nog hoger, and then trying to realize is the pronunciation correct and what am I reading? And then als de aankopen worden meegerekend, and then I stop again.
So you cut the sentence, you break it down like you did with the long words before.
Yeah.
Do you do it according to the meaning?
Yes, and then I try to recognize words I may know, and then I continue. Yeah. Die deden in samenwerking met ideële studentenhuisvesters. And that's a long one, so I try to cut it into pieces because this word studentenhuisvesters is very long.
Studentenhuisvesters. Studentenhuisvesters.
Als corporatie, Duo en de stichting SSH. Corporatie, when we have the TEA at the end, the pronunciation is C. Like
Like
politie. No, vakantie.
Vakantie, corporatie.
Vakantie, politie.
So, for instance, this long sentence, I would take it, I would copy paste it in Google Translate because it's important not to learn what it means, but to just see what every word means or the whole sentence in order to be able to pronounce it correctly. For example, when it says met ideale studentenhuisvesters, these three words go together.
Yes.
What does it mean with ideal student?
Studentenhuisvesters. They speak here about companies who they earn houses for students,
Uh-huh.
and
So
they rent them to them, and they earn a lot of money because it's very expensive in the Netherlands to you hire a room when you're a student.
yes, yes. And so festers, studentenhuisvesters, festers reminds me of investors.
Investors. Yes.
So this is the way I remember the meaning or the general meaning of the word, even though I don't know the exact translation. Metideiel, and yeah, I was saying that I need to combine these three words together, metideiel, studentenhuisvesters, because of the meaning.
Yes, the most important one is the investors. Yeah.
Okay.
To understand the whole sentence. Yeah.
So this text might take 30 minutes to someone in order to be able to read it at a decent level. Okay, maybe not fluently, but your goal is to speak fluently later on, because this is how you need to communicate with the locals or, yeah, with the other Dutch speakers. Not to stutter a lot when you reach a certain level. Let's go on. Okay, here. Here I'm proud always to compare the FAST method to the traditional method. The traditional method is the way we all have learned languages with. So with the FAST method, if you apply these principles that we just described during your learning, you will need 6 hours for A1 level, 6 hours for A2, 6 hours for the third month to B1. And then you need a whole trimester for B2 level because it's more demanding. In total, and I don't exaggerate, you need 36 hours to reach B2 level. There are some people who have done the double amount of hours, like 80 hours. It's still okay. Because if you compare with the traditional method, the teaching hours are as following here. Total 490 hours on average, and we're talking about teaching hours besides the study time you need to spend on your at home to study. So the FAST method is for you when you have a clear why, when you are motivated to learn, and you prefer learning through real conversations in practice. The comparative advantage of this method, I'm again proud of saying that you need around 6 months to learn to reach B2 level, but with the traditional method, we usually need between 2 and 4 years to reach that level. So with our school, 500 students, about more, or maybe a bit more, 500 students trusted us till level C1 in Dutch and C2 in other languages. And I'm saying that because, we work with private lessons, like either one-to-one or in groups of 2, maximum 3 people, in order to be able to apply the principles that I just described and to speak a lot during the lesson. So that's why this amount of students is quite decent for the 7 years we are already here now, working with the FAST method. And this is Apostolos, a Greek student of ours, who said that after a while it became natural to him, it becomes natural. The best part is when you realize you're not in a foreign place anymore because you can finally understand what's happening around you. And this is the goal for everyone who lives as a foreigner in the Netherlands, myself included. So today we would like to share with you that you can have a trial lesson with one of our teachers and experience the FAST method. It's free of cost. It's in order to get to know this way of learning And even if you don't choose to have classes, you will have gained some experience already with how to learn a bit faster in practice, like in a more practical way. Feel free to check the QR code and have a call with one of our teachers. Yeah, here we say that you can ask your HR at your company where you might work about language support, because very often companies have a budget for education for their employees, and I'm really wondering if you're aware of that, because some people know this opportunity, some others not. They don't know. You don't need to pay lessons from your pocket, as we say, but you can ask your employer to pay for a course. Have it in mind. Yeah, there's a poll here, like if you're aware of such offers. Invergeringsexamen. Examen. Okay, Aneta is the most responsible person, like, and most experienced to say about the Invergeringsexamen. What do we do, Aneta, with this exam? Because many people need it, right?
Yes, we prepare students to do the inburgeringsexamen, and they will, on a very quick way, we guide them to pass the exams.
So in the first month we covered, as I said before, A1 level, in the second month A2 level, and then is it correct that in the third month you focus on the exams?
We focus on the exams and prepare them for the inburgeringsexamens. Yes.
There's a question that I hear from many people, like on many phone calls, people ask me, like, is it still A2 that they have to acquire, or B1 level in order to pass the exam, to sit the exam?
And inburgeringsexamen is still A2 level, yes.
It's still A2 level. Okay, yeah, great for people who need it for in order to stay in the Netherlands, like for their visa and things like that. So that was it, our live training today. Thank you for being here, and feel free to ask any questions you might have. We're at your availability and happy to share more. Riska, we cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Thank you so much. I was going to say, I just said we do actually have a few questions. We have about 7 minutes, so we can quickly answer a few. From Jason, the first question is, I struggle with long sentences. Any advice to overcome that?
Okay, long sentences. Aneta, what do you think?
What we said before, to cut them into pieces, like if they're too long. And yes, like we do with a word, cut them into pieces and then try to realize what you're reading, if you understand it, and then go further on if they are too long. Yeah, not read it in one. If you read it in one time, then you don't realize what you're reading, maybe. So cutting into pieces, I would say. Yeah.
So this is tip number 1. And I also have a tip number 2. Like, I don't know what level you are, but at the beginning, just keep your sentence basic. Keep the same meaning, but just cut and send away the words that you don't understand or that are difficult for you now. Next week, or after a while, just when you've learned this sentence, when you're capable of pronouncing a sentence that you might think it's a bit long, but having cut out the rest of the words, then a week later, add more words, 1, 2 unknown words, and repeat yourself. So through repetition and through building it up slowly and gradually, you will acquire the long sentences that you need to pronounce or to read.
Perfect. Then how do I politely respond if I don't understand something in Dutch?
Okay, how do I politely respond when I don't understand? Okay, please, Aneta, what do you think?
Maybe can you please repeat the question, or because they also speak very quickly, and then ask them not to speak very quickly, and that's what I say. Yes.
So if the other person is open to repeat and to insist in Dutch, not to switch to English, then how can we ask this in Dutch, Aneta? To ask people to repeat.
Kunt u alstublieft de vraag herhalen?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So this sentence, in order to remember it, you have to understand every word. Can you repeat, please?
Kunt u alstublieft,
Alsjeblieft, ja?
ja, de zin herhalen?
The zin is the sentence.
Yeah.
So it's like you're saying, can you please the sentence repeat?
Yes.
How is the verb repeat?
Herhalen.
Herhalen.
Or
Okay.
wat zegt u? Wat zegt u? Is
Wat
easy.
zegt u? Ah, yes, I hear this all the time.
Zegt
Wat
u?
zegt u? Wat zegt u?
Ja.
Wat zegt u? Wat? Can you repeat that?
Wat zegt u?
Wat zegt u? Wat zegt u? Uh-huh. I have to see it in written so that, and maybe it's the case of the person who asked it. Like maybe you have to see it in written. Google it, check it how we say it in Dutch, listen to it, and then pronounce it. Try it yourself. Thank you, Aneta.
I think this has already been answered. I'll just repeat it though. I want to achieve C1 level. How is it possible to do this in less time?
Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you say it again?
Sorry, the question is, I want to achieve C1 level. How is it possible to do this in less time?
Okay, so what is your level at the moment, I would ask? If you're a total beginner, and if we are talking like about a short amount of time, if you work with the FAST method, for the first trimester, you reach B1, like first month A2, A1, then A2, then B1. Then you need 3 months to B2 and 3 more months to C1 level. In 9 months' time, a woman can have a baby or learn Dutch. with some interruptions, some breaks or holidays, it can go up to a year. It happens like that. But yes, in a year you can learn Dutch at C1 level. And then we also ask you to study. Some people ask this, so maybe it's good to mention. We ask you to study from 3 to 6 hours per week, every week, to commit to that, so that you grow and you have a very good pace of learning.
Perfect. Another question, is the webinar for starters?
This webinar, if it's for starters, for beginners.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious how you experience this. But yes, we address ourselves to beginners. Yes, maybe it sounds difficult. Maybe the trial lesson we gave is difficult. But now you could not interact with us. If you can participate more actively, it becomes like more yours. So you experience it better.
Yeah. Could you explain the correct way to pronounce R, H, and G?
Okay, Aneta, this is yours.
De R van regen.
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 R. Can you give more examples here?
Regen. Raam. Raam. Broer. Because it started to end. Broer. Regen, raam, broer. Trein.
Okay.
Then we say the H, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoge, we used in the house. Yes, it's very important. The difference between the H and the G. Because if you don't pronounce them clear, they don't understand you. Is what? What are you saying? So, huis, hoge, huis, hoge, hier. En dan de gaan, ging, graan, groep.
Groep.
It's very hard. Yeah, groep. Yeah.
So here you have G and R together. Groep.
Yeah.
What is groep? What is groep?
Groep is a group.
Groep. Groep. Groep like moeder, like the O-E.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
U. And so for the person who asked this question, it's more useful if you don't only hear these words and how we pronounce them, but you also see them written, like we did in the examples before. So you see them, you look at them, and at the same time you pronounce them.
I think we have time for one more quick question.
Okay.
Is there an app where you can practice speaking and listening? I've tried Duolingo, but it does not really help you with much it doesn't really help you much with speaking and listening like in a real world conversation.
What you can use is if you open Google Chrome, there's a microphone. You can click on it and pronounce something in Dutch. Of course, you choose the Dutch language, start pronouncing, start saying something easy, and then you see that it's being written there. If you don't know how a word is pronounced, but you want to learn it, you can listen to it first and then click again on the microphone and pronounce it. It's really funny because it will write it down if you make it well done. If not, you will laugh and you will try again. So this is something I can recommend. Google Chrome.
Perfect. I just thought I would answer Simon's question because this is also valid to everyone at home. He was asking any chance we could get emailed the slides with translations, please, so I can go through it again. So everybody who has joined tonight's webinar, tomorrow you will receive an email with the link to the YouTube video. So we will upload this webinar onto YouTube. The link will be live for 72 hours. So you've got 72 hours to rewatch the webinar if you'd like, to check out the slides again. So everybody who has participated will definitely receive a copy, so to speak, but it will be live for 72 hours. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have tonight. I just want to quickly send out a few pop-ups. So for those of you who would like to get in touch, I do see that there are a few more questions. And as Sophia has already mentioned, they are offering a free trial lesson to everyone who wants to go further with the FAST method. So feel free to click on that link and reach out. And then before we pop off, just a quick reminder to join us. For those of you who are interested, next week we have another webinar. It's called Screenagers Unplugged. So it's all about dealing with teenagers who are glued to technology. And then last but not least, I would like to invite everybody, if you've got 2 minutes, to feel free to fill out the survey. It's basically just to offer us feedback with regards to how the webinar was and the platform. How did you find it? Was it easy to use? So if you would like to fill those out, we would highly appreciate it. And then with that, I would like to thank you, our wonderful presenters tonight for that webinar.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's always such a pleasure. And I sit in the background with you pronouncing. So I'm sure everybody at home was also practicing their Dutch tonight. So thank you very much for that. And with that, I wish everybody a lovely evening and stay tuned. Follow us on our social medias and keep up to date with the webinars. Have a good evening.
Goedenavond.
Bye bye. Dag.